So this will lock in real wages growth in your view, because it's not much above where the inflation rate is right now.
You look at where they can only work on the Treasury projections. You look at where the projections are for the future of inflation. You look at where this is at. Where it starts above inflation, it gives a guarantee that we already wanted, that people wouldn't be going backwards in any way. And the impact on this is real. Let's not forget, the number that averaged under the previous government for wage growth, for nominal wage growth, had a 2 in front of it. That's what happens when low wage growth is a deliberate design feature of how you manage the economy. What's happening now is wages are deliberately growing. And, I know this is not the decision that Jane Hume wanted. Jane Hume was calling for a real wage cut, as though somehow low wage earners should be personally blamed for inflation. This says to people, the system is continuing to try to make sure that your wages stay in front of what is happening with prices. For 2.6 million Australians, this decision is a really good one and a good day for them.
The Commissioner also pointed out the productivity challenge. What's your response to that, the fact that productivity today is where it was basically 4 years ago, as he put it?
Turning around productivity is about making the sorts of investments that the government's making. It's why we needed to turn around the investment in training. It's why we need the sorts of investments that are there with a future made in Australia. It's what happens when you go for 10 years without an energy policy, instead of actually getting moving on making sure that you're investing in all of these things. There's another approach to productivity, which we hear from the Coalition from time to time, which is effectively the answer to productivity is to pay people less. Well, who gets a share in that? You want people to be getting ahead year after year, and certainly the people who have the least capacity to ever deal with rising prices are people on the lowest incomes. And you've got 2.6 million of them who had a pay rise guaranteed today.
You know the argument that your IR changes are anti-productivity as well. You've heard that before. What do you say to that?
Well, I hear it from people who are in love with underpayments. I hear it from people who think there should be loopholes to be able to undercut wages that have been agreed to. I hear it from people who say that in the gig economy there should be no minimum standards at all, and we should be a country where you have to rely on tips to get by. I hear that argument from people who I think don't understand the expectations of what it should be to work in Australia. Australia's had a principle for a very long time where we believe in paying people decent wages. And just because we had a decade where that all ground to a halt doesn't mean we shouldn't restore to what has been a core value in this country of people being paid properly and of returning to real wages growth.